October 6th. I'm Rim.
I'm Scott.
And this is Geeknights. Tonight, late to the party, we talk about Castle Crashers on the Xbox.
Let's do this. So, Rim, when we moved into this apartment here, this one in Beacon, how many keys were given to us upon lease signing?
Well, 2, but there was only one door that had a key.
Right, so it was 2 keys, but they were exactly the same key, right?
Yep.
And there were 2 of us, and it's a house, right? It has a back door and a front door.
Yeah,
right?
but it was a weird, back sliding door, so you couldn't really lock it from the outside.
No, the lock on it didn't really work at all. We used a wooden stick to lock it.
That's what you do. If you have a sliding door and you don't have a stick, you're making a mistake.
Yeah. So regardless, right, we got 1 key for where we live now, effectively.
To this day, it's still weird to me. I remember as a kid, our house had 4 different, every house I lived in had all these different exterior doors. And every night there was the ritual of check all the doors. And this house, I come downstairs, I look at the one door, I see it's locked, and I just kind of feel like, only one way out.
Yep. Also, even people today who have a front door and a back door just have 1 key for both. They make sure they get the same compatible locks on all the different doors.
Front door, back door. You know what's cool in Detroit? All the houses have side doors, and they had garage doors, and they had door on the garage.
Also, door directly into the basement from the outside.
That's old school.
That's old school. Anyway, so I move into this apartment. I didn't actually move in yet. I'm going to move in slow and comfortable not this big rush. Of course, I realized it's still a pain in the ass. I don't have to deal with that day where we carry a shit ton of furniture because basically I'm going to get all new furniture and have IKEA carried in.
Same thing with that house I'm buying. I'm just so glad that we're not, we have money and an extra month of rent is just such a luxury.
Yeah. But anyway, it's still a pain in the ass. I still got a bunch of shit to do. But today I got the keys. Guess how? This is a small apartment, right? It's not even the size of just the upstairs of our current place, right? And it's just one person in one apartment in this building. Guess how many keys they gave me?
I'm gonna guess 3. Exterior door key, interior door key, mail trash key.
All right, so I got here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different keys, 3 of which I have doubles for a total of 9 keys.
9 keys.
9 keys. So
boomerangs take those bastards out.
No, there's actually 10 keys. So here, the first key is
fanatical devotion to the Pope.
Right. So the first key is just this little metal stick, and that's used for the bathroom or the bedroom locks. The interior doors. It's oh shit, you locked yourself out of the bedroom. Just poke this into the middle. Those locks that just have the tiny hole.
Basically, anything will work in that capacity.
Right. Even I usually always use a skewer from the kitchen to open those.
I usually use a tiny screwdriver.
All right, so that's the first quote key. Also good for getting CD-ROMs out that are broken. The next key is the key to get into the trash room. You see, on each floor of the building, there is a trash room, which is basically the cement room that you put your trash in. And the guy told me all about what trash to do. And apparently he says, take all the trash and throw it down the incinerator, whatever it is. I don't know if there's actually an incinerator compactor or whatever is at the bottom. But
it's a Willy Wonka incinerator.
Right. Whatever's at the bottom is something that takes care of the trash. But recycling, just leave it in the room. Just on the floor in a bag. And also, if it's raw food, just leave it on the floor in a bag in that room. Don't send it down the trap. So the next key is a key to open that trap. The incinerator chute compressor thing. Compactor thing. The thing is, he just says he leaves that thing open, but I have the key to open it just in case it gets locked. Then I got 2 identical keys to open my mailbox. 2 identical keys to open the front door of the building. 2 identical keys to open my apartment, 1 key to open that trash room, and then another key that I think is probably the key to open the back door of the building, but I have to test that out. Maybe it's a laundry room key. I'm not exactly sure. I don't remember the laundry room being locked. But regardless, there's 1 more key. It's the mystery key.
The mystery key. Because I got to say, when we...
There's a lot of freaking keys here. I'm gonna have to split them up and put them on separate keychains. Like I have to put the trash key on
you could buy
an Oscar the Grouch keychain.
You know what you could buy.
So that I know that those are the trash keys.
Because when I was at IBM, we had all these PCs, and we didn't want the users like opening them up and messing with them.
One of those lockers that you put all the keys in.
We had a tiny key locker. Actually, it was a gigantic
I think
key
I'm just
locker.
gonna get a key hanging bit and hang the keys, but make sure to put keychains on them so I know which are which.
But the mystery key, that's a lot like, when I moved into...
I'll put a question mark keychain on that one.
You
Maybe a Riddler keychain.
We moved from one part of downtown Detroit to another part of downtown Detroit, a little less downtown, closer to...
So you just put a gun on all your keychains.
gun pointed at all the doors.
Yeah.
No, but in the basement, the basement had an uneven floor because I think there was a sub-basement that was filled in.
Mm-hmm.
But
sub basement.
there was no sub-basement. Oh my God.
Yeah.
I wonder if anyone will even realize what we're talking about.
No.
Anyway, why is the acid still there?
I don't know.
Like, they open it and they're like, don't watch out. That's acid. And it's like Chekhov's acid.
It's totally Chekhov. Why leave the acid there? How did it get there?
Well,
who put it there, and why did they leave it there? And why did they leave the hatch open? If I knew there was acid and I couldn't get rid of it, close the hatch and never open it
Oh,
again.
the hatch was closed. Asshole opened it. He's like, look at that. That's acid. Check it out. Ooh.
Close it the fuck up and never open that again.
Yeah.
And if he tries to open it again, throw him in the acid and close it. And
You
never
know
open
what?
it again.
If the bones keep coming up, well, you got bigger problems.
I know, right?
Anyway, so in the basement of that house that had the scary filled in
Call the
sub-basement,
hazmat crew.
that I was always kind of, as a kid, I always basically assumed that bodies were down there, and that's why it was filled in with cement.
Duh.
Yeah. But there was this light switch coming out of the ground, like on one of those tube pipes, and it just came out of the ground in like a totally unrelated part of the basement, and there was just this switch on it, and the wires went down. We could never figure out where it went or what it did.
While you're speaking about bodies in cement, right? There's that old story that Jimmy Hoffa is in the cement of Giant Stadium.
Yeah, at the 50-yard line, everyone knows that.
Right. Well, yeah, they're next year the new Giant Stadium is going to be done.
Well, they got to move the body, obviously.
They're going to take the old one apart. Maybe they'll find his body.
I would not put the odds that low on them finding a body in there. However, I would guess that it is a hobo body.
Hobo body. Hobo Jimmy Hoffa. Hobo Hoffa. Hoffa Hobo. All right, so another item of small note. So I basically spent lunch at work going to the apartment, getting the keys, whatever. When I came back, my tech coworkers, were raving about this thing, like a cookie or something.
A cookie?
Yeah, so they went out again because apparently it was so great.
Because actually, as an aside, I had the best cupcake, one of the best cupcakes I've ever eaten in my life today.
Where'd you get it from?
Some coworker made them.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Yeah.
They're talking about this thing, and they're like, go get back. So they wanted to go back to it, right? So
All right.
I came back from Astoria. We went down, to this thing. And you know what the thing was? Well, when you're on the street and you want to get food, it's the street meat. There was this truck.
Street cupcake?
The street sweets.
Was it called Street Sweets?
Yes. It's this big truck. This dude owned it. And in the truck, he had an oven in which he baked goods like, brownies and cupcakes and quiches and eclairs. And
did he have one brownie that was like $100 more than all the other brownies?
No, he had a bunch of brownies. So, and he had coffee, and his whole menu's online. Now, this dude, let me tell you, this dude knows what the fuck is up, right? Number one, his truck was really big and had awesome graphic design all over it, right? All his marketing materials have awesome graphic design. I have here a card that gets a stamp every time I buy a sweet, and if I get 10 stamps...
you gain 10 pounds.
I'm on Easy Street. The next one's on them. So I don't know what the next one is, but I assume it's one of anything.
It's a boot to the head.
All right. He tweets where the truck is, so this dude never has to worry about the location problem. He just drives to the good location, right? And he tweets where he's at every day.
The dumpling truck does the same thing. They tweet, and the only reason I don't follow them is that I'm nowhere near any of the places they go anymore.
Yeah, this is a block away from my office today.
I only get to eat all those cool foods when I'm at training, because every time I get training, it's down at Wall Street or something.
Also, the dude was an awesome dude. I think his wife was in the truck too. They were totally awesome. basically, they have a cool website. You can get the menu on a PDF. Their sweets were really sweet. And you could tell looking at the truck, like on really close inspection, how well they've thought this out, right? They got lights on the outside of the truck, on the side of the window, so that he can open the truck at night. He took the truck to like Yankee Stadium during a game, for big, right? He's not stupid. He's like a really smart, much smarter than the ice cream men, right? There's on the outside of the truck, there's a camera. Like you could tell it's a security camera looking. So if you try to rob the street sweets, they'll get you, right? He's got like this whole thing like pimped out to the max. And there's a website. The website is streetsweetsny.com, and it wasn't like the greatest brownie entire universe. Oh my god, I was dying, but it was a damn good chewy brownie, much better than any I could make. So well worth. What did I pay? Like $2.50 for this brownie that was kind of big.
That's not bad.
Not bad at all for getting it on the street at Street Sweets and a stamp. Working 1/10 of the way towards a free
now that
thing.
there's no more Beard Papa in Midtown, I'm stuck with like the melon pie.
Yeah, so I recommend following the Street Sweets on Twitter if you're in New York, and you'll know where the Street Sweets truck is at. And if it's near you, you can go and get a Street Sweet that day. There's another truck that sometimes is near my work, the Jamaican Dutchie. I'm going to try that. It's on my list.
Jamaican Dutchie.
Oh, yeah.
That somehow all I can think of is Elephant Castle.
Apparently, I'm going to get some jerk chicken from him.
Oh, man.
Oh, shit.
The jerk store called.
They're all out of you.
So, Scott and I usually, Scott will never tell me what his stupid news is going to be.
That's right.
But we usually have to at least make sure we're not doing the same news.
Otherwise, what the fuck happens in the middle of the show
And
when we realize, I don't have a news?
I will just note that you can always tell when we're both on the same page about some news or something, or just the zeitgeist of Geeknights, when we both end up picking the same news. So we got to talk about Epic Mickey.
All right, so the deal here is that, it basically leaked out because some magazines got the exclusive. But
No. Leaked out.
Right, some magazines were going to come out with this, but then, of course, the magazines themselves got on the internets before they got to print or whatever, so everyone knows. Warren Spector, who I guess is a famous video game guy. I'm sorry, I don't know what he made. I just know he's a famous video game guy. His name is on the internet all the time. He is somehow involved in making a game called Epic Mickey. It's a Wii game exclusive. And what this game is all about is, you can tell from the imagery, it looks totally awesome because it's like this, it's Mickey Mouse with like a dark, evil castle, and it's got all that sort of Kingdom Hearts, only even more badass because there's no Square Enix involvement.
Well, the thing is,
it's
Mickey,
just dark Disney, straight up.
This is the kind of picture where even if you know nothing about it, you see this picture and you think, badass. I mean, Mickey Mouse has the badass posture.
Oh, yeah.
But, what it reminds me of a little bit, remember that Mickey game on the NES?
Which one?
Where you and Minnie, first it's just you got to find Minnie, and then and people try to kidnap her, got to go through, I forget exactly what the name of the game was.
There's quite a few of them, I don't remember, there is one that I remember that I liked, and the other ones, eh.
The one where, the first level was kind of a Kid Icarus, dungeon style thing, and then level 2 was like a side scroller, and level 3 was a dungeon thing again.
I remember
Pirate
one
ship.
where level 1 was Kid Icarus-ish, but I was never able to beat level 1, so
that game was hard as balls. It was great, though. You fight Pete the Pirate.
Yeah.
Minnie Mouse would always get kidnapped by these jerks, and you have to save her. And
yeah, okay.
It's a good game.
I'll have to go try it out again on the Emulatos.
That's what I feel when I look at this picture, because that game was great, and it was kind of dark and scary in parts.
This game looks real dark and scary. Now, the thing about this game is it's a Wii exclusive game because apparently what the game is about is all these forgotten, disgruntled Disney characters who got no respect, and no one even knows about really anymore.
Who's never wrong, but always right. Who'd never dream of starting a fight? You don't remember the Donald Duck song?
No. But
Who
they're
gets
gonna
stuck with all the
I don't
bad
think
luck?
they're talking about Donald Duck.
No one.
They're talking about
But Donald Duck.
They're talking about, Disney characters that no one even knows, that are from the ancient times, that were probably in 1 or 2 cartoons, if that. Are coming back to get revenge on Mickey Mouse for, being so, the head of Disney or whatever. So the way you play this game apparently is you're Mickey Mouse, or you're helping Mickey Mouse.
Mickey Mouse is clearly made of ink and has a paintbrush.
And you're using the paintbrush, the Wiimote, to paint on the screen and do stuff. Now, the thing is, my prediction for this game, I don't know for sure. I can't pass judgment.
I can sum it up in one word.
Okay.
You ready here? Scribblenauts.
Yeah, that's pretty much what I'm seeing, is that It's one of those games where, on paper, it's probably got all this stuff going on, but in reality, it's going to be...
Because they know
that's my prediction.
They know the
I'm not
aesthetic.
going to pass the judgment before playing it, but
it's the problem, and I've had this my whole life, where you see like a picture for a game, or you have the idea like, what if you did Mother, but, and then you have like the twist that makes it awesome.
Yep.
And it used to be that no one ever made the game like that. So you'd always like, what if they just made TIE Fighter, but it was versus? And if you're about to say they made X-Wing versus TIE Fighter, fuck you. That didn't exist.
Yeah.
That was, I have no son. But then it's like the industry realized that people want the mashup, like the unexpected. Usually, like take something light.
You can
and make
sell
it
a video
dark.
game based on style alone without any substance whatsoever. And
I mean, if you made a Hello Kitty, like, I don't know, murder game, like
Yeah.
some sort of dark.
it doesn't have to be good.
I'll put it this way: Hello Kitty, right? I'll make a real good idea. It's all Sanrio Hello Kitty styling. Hello Kitty is a 1920s era private eye going after the serial killer Batsumaru.
Oh shit!
And it's all like black and white, but it's still Sanrio, like
Right.
2D.
It's like if you got people who are experts in, say, animation or movies or writing, right? You can do all those things and put them into a video game and make the video game basically poop like just a generic platformer even, or a point and click adventure or something like that. And as long as you have all those other things together, or if you have some like novelty trick like Scribblenauts does, you don't actually need any game substance to get big sales. You can have absolutely no game substance whatsoever and get big sales. And that's what's happening a lot. This is the lesson that these companies have learned is don't bother trying to actually make the game like a quality, awesome game.
Just have the concept that sells.
Yeah, I mean, look, Kingdom Hearts, I mean, in all honesty, it's just a walk around and hit things game. There's not too much game going on. It's generic action
to
RPG.
ride the dope ass Disney train.
It's an action RPG. Not too much novelty, not too much, innovative gameplay.
Now, there's something
It's
to be
just the
said.
Final Fantasy plus Disney aspects, which, sell it big time.
There's something to be said. You could have done, like, you can make an action RPG game like that and make it good or different. I mean,
it's still a good action RPG,
Oh, yeah.
but it's not like, say, Mario 64, a world-changing game.
but I'm saying you could
It's
make
not NS.
what is otherwise a fairly standard game using, tried and true game mechanics. Don't do anything innovative or special, but use the mechanic of, because you're playing the character and because you're immersed in the game, the story as a whole is more immersive than a movie and all that. But even games that have the good story and the good styling still just don't pull that off to the point that it's worth it. They would have been better off making a movie.
Yep.
Kingdom Hearts would have been a better movie than a game. I'm straight up, and I feel this is the same way. Why isn't this a movie? Why is this not? What if you saw this and it was a movie trailer poster as opposed to a game?
Holy shit. Mickey Mouse movie? It's been how long? Holy shit. I would like buy it on DVD.
Oh my God. But imagine if the movie were this. It's the same situation as that X-Men poster that was not anything but a poster.
That some guy made just because he wanted to.
Yes, that needs to be a movie.
Oh, yeah. That needs to be fucking every X-Men comic.
Yeah, oh my God. But look, no, this is just Scribblenauts. It's going to be the situation where they come up with a concept that they know will sell, and they don't have to back it up. They just have to back it up enough to where the reviews are not bad right away, and that's it. They make all their money, they're done.
It's the same thing with the Sonic Unleashed. Remember that?
Oh my God.
It was
I
like
saw-
the game that was half Sonic the Hedgehog in 3D, but it looks like it's awesome like the old Sonics, but the other half of the game is like freaking werewolf, who knows what.
Stretchy werewolf.
Yeah.
Like, why?
It's like the game looked like it was going to be the shit, but in reality, no.
Shit.
Everyone says it's poop, even though I never played it, so I
It's
don't know
like
for
the
sure.
difference between chocolate and shit.
Chocolate and shit.
So I want to talk a little bit about this article about gamers and strangers and testosterone. But very briefly, I would just like to point out, I had no idea this was even an issue. And this is kind of a neat glimpse into the world of hardware hacking. But the Game Boy Color boot ROM was a mystery to everyone but Nintendo until very recently. Apparently, no one actually knew what the firmware was on this chip because the I/O, like the I/O pins on the outside, were not really interlinked with the control pins. So once it booted, there was really no way to dump it. It's not like it's software. There was no interface for it. And usually in the past, what people would do is they do something called decapping, where, all right, just crack the chip open and look at what's connected to what. But that didn't help here, apparently. And there's this cool story of how after 10 years, they finally dumped it. And
10 years, good God. I bought a Game Boy Color the day it came out.
I skipped it. I remember I had the Game Boy and the Game Gear. And the Game Gear, the screen was just so much better that I basically said, fuck you to every portable thing that came since.
See, I didn't have a Game Boy because everyone else had one, and I just played theirs. And then my brother had a Game Boy Pocket, and then I had a job. I was like, and I had a job, and the Game Boy Color came out, so I was like, yoink, and then I got it the Pokemon.
See, I looked at the Game Boy Color, and then I looked back at my Game Gear, and I was like, what the hell? And it wasn't until the Game Boy Advance when suddenly, like, that was a revolution. But
the thing is, the Game Boy Color sort of got skipped over because the Game Boy Advance came too soon, and that blew everything away.
The Game Boy Advance was just such a transcendent piece of hardware.
No shit, but the Game Boy Color had a lot of games for it that are sort of like, lost. Like, there was Super Mario Brothers Deluxe, which is pretty much the best portable version of Super Mario Brothers 1 that exists.
Because it's straight up and it looks like Mario 1. It's not some reskin or anything. It's exact.
There was a later release of Super Mario Brothers, period, for the GBA on one of those expensive $20 cartridges. But Mario Brothers Deluxe actually had all this extra shit in it. It even had, like, the Lost Worlds. So it was, like, totally a sweet deal compared to the, straight up re-release of Mario Brothers for the GBA.
So, aside from the coolness of this, what are the ramifications? One, you can now perfectly recreate the Game Boy logo and then the cling sound that it makes.
All right.
And two...
Couldn't we do that before with regular Game Boy boot ROMs as opposed to Game Boy Color boot ROMs?
It wasn't the exact same one, apparently.
Uh-huh.
But two, now emulation will be perfect because there were some color things that apparently couldn't be done perfectly because we didn't know what was in here.
I suggest if you're interested in, what games are for the Game Boy Color? Go get Zelda Oracle of Ages and Zelda Oracle of Seasons.
I forget which one I liked. I liked one a lot more than the other.
It doesn't matter. Get both of them, and basically, it's two Zelda games. They're the Zelda games that have probably been least played by human beings. You can play one, then play the other. Then you can take, like, the passwords from one and put them in the other one, and vice versa. And it's actually, like, 4 Zelda games in one.
But also, if you play it on a Game Boy Advance, there's special stuff.
Yeah, you can play it on a Game Boy Advance.
And you can buy the Game Boy Advance ring. You know what it does? Nothing.
Also, Wario 2. Wario Land 2. One of the best platform games ever.
Not only that, you want to steal from the Forgotten Masters? Just steal from Wario 2.
I tell totally.
That game. Actually, all the Wario games were great.
Wario 2, though, is clearly the best Wario.
3 was pretty good, though.
Yeah, 3 was just sort of more 2, but a little bit less.
Yeah.
2, Wario Land 2 is just above and beyond. All I got to say about Wario 2 is defeat the giant spearman.
But there's this interesting article linked to from Slashdot. I'd recommend you read it, but the title is Gamers Are More Aggressive to Strangers. And it's from New Scientist, but they talk about how if you study gamers and people who play games, one, you get a testosterone rush if you beat someone, but only if you beat someone who is either anonymous to you or if you know who they are, they're not in your, like, in-group. And there's a lot of speculation as to why. And the one obvious speculation is maybe it's, within a social group, you want to kind of have a united front against the outside world, and you'll fight internally for dominance and control and all these things. But it's very bad if 2 lions fight and, like, they kill each other, because then, they're kind of weakened. If a bunch of humans all fight internally, it's tough for them to fight the external threats or the humans that are more together. But at the same time, if you're fighting an external threat, you want to bite their neck and rip it out.
Well, I mean, that's sort of, whenever there's, like, throughout history, right? You try to make war with someone, you have to label the other guys as the other. If you fail to make sure that the bad guys are other, then, people feel bad killing them. They don't want to.
But there's a lot of interesting research, not just here, but about this sort of related thing. Like, I read an article, and we talked about a lot at work, actually, a couple of years ago, about how there was a pretty strong link between testosterone levels in the blood and good performance among stock traders. And the only argument, like the only link that people could really actually make was that increased testosterone tends to cause increased risk-taking behavior. And by and large, people who have high risk-taking behavior tend to succeed more often than people who don't. However, when they fail awesomely. It's just a really neat article. I don't want to talk about it much more because
I'll have to keep this in mind. Like if I'm playing a game against a stranger, like in say a tournament or something, I have to keep in mind to
keep them a stranger and be vicious.
Well, no, it's like, should I have to evaluate, like, do I make riskier moves in the games or not? I got to make sure I make the right move to win.
No, I'm going to use it more along the lines of when I'm playing against strangers, I will expect high risk taking and I will expect vicious behavior.
Oh, from them.
And I will
Play the conservative.
Play the conservative counterattack game where you hold back and then you strike.
Not bad.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Also, too, when I play against friends, I have to very pointedly increase the aggression in games. Because even, fighting games like Soul Calibur, I don't usually give it my all when we're all playing Soul Calibur. And it's not just an excuse like, I wasn't really playing 100%, but you don't. But when you're at like PAX and you're playing a game against a stranger, you just feel this desire to win.
But the thing is, like, I've noticed that, depending on the game, that we play, and depending on the situation,
well, depending on the game
if we're
we play,
playing, like, something like Mario Tennis, like, I'm fucking giving it everything, because I can't lose in no Mario Tennis.
Yeah.
But, like, we played Dominion the other day, it's just like, yeah, Dominion,
Maybe it's the lack of direct attacks or directed attacks.
I don't know what it is.
You'd have to study this more and see, different game mechanics. I don't think they did anything like that. I mean, look at all the different board games where there are direct attacks versus indirect attacks versus no attacks, all that sort of thing. I'll bet that plays a big role because I think when there isn't a direct attack, maybe you don't get the surge until you win the game. But maybe if you play multiple games against strangers, you get the surge. So maybe you let the person win the first round, they get the surge, and then you take advantage of their increased risk-taking behavior in the second round.
It'd be an interesting way to study this. If we can look at two different sports that would really help us out. You could look at tennis and golf, the individual sports, and you could compare, right? For example, let's say someone's buddy with, say, Tiger Woods, and he's playing with Tiger Woods, like on a certain day, how they perform in their testosterone levels versus, say, two guys who are complete strangers playing golf in the same, foursome or whatever. And the same thing with tennis, like, you're playing tennis against a guy you never met before, or you're playing tennis against a guy and you're at a certain match. And how the games go and how the sets go, whatever.
Well, also think about this. This specific study, there's a surge of testosterone when you win against a stranger. There is a drop when you win against a friend. So maybe you have to take into account the surge of winning specifically. So maybe games that have junctures where there's like a scoring round in the middle, like Hacienda, or you can win a sub game but lose the overall game.
Yeah, because look at like golf, you can win a hole, or in tennis, you can win a game or a set. And that's sort of like a win. So you can get your testosterone up during the game. But in something like, I don't know, what's a game where like this is a surprise score at the end? Dominion is sort of surprise score at the end. You know who's winning though.
Yeah, but Tikal has that to a degree.
Yeah, it's like surprise at the end, see who's winning, right? There's not any chance during the game to know and get your testosterone up before the end.
All I can think this whole time is preposterone.
All right.
It's neat, but also, as an aside, I wonder how this plays into gender stuff too, because it's hard to tell how much is actually physical versus how much is just societal in terms of the clear differences on average in how girls approach games as opposed to how guys approach games.
Yeah, it's
crazy.
And
it's really like I don't know how much of it is just cultural versus, hormonal. And I wonder if they see, I don't know if I didn't read the full study. I don't know if they did men and women and all. I don't know, but
as games become more and more important in our society, not that they've all never been, not been important, but now it's like they were crazy important and now they're double crazy important and they're going to be triple crazy important. We definitely need a lot more study into these sorts of areas.
Yes. Well, look at the keynote at PAX. One of the big points was that we're really the first generation for whom there was never a point in our lives where video games did not exist in mass.
Yeah, my mom was playing Atari when I was in the womb. She was playing the Breakout.
Yep.
People who were born like a couple years before me, okay, there was still Atari.
But we're the first generation.
Couple years before that, there was nothing.
And not only are we the first generation, really, where gaming has always existed fully in a relatively modern form, but gaming is one of the first new media to appear.
Man, there are kids who grew up with like PS2 instead of NES.
I know, and I wonder what the future holds for them. I wonder
Lack of skills and not knowing where the door charges are in Zelda 1. Not being able to beat Mega Man 2 so easily. Not even coming close to being able to beat Mega Man 1. That's what the future holds.
No human can beat Mega Man 1
Not even
anymore.
knowing how to play Donkey Kong.
Think about this. Maybe you'll get to this point to where there are these lost skills. Maybe in the far future, there'll be kids, they'll find like this relic.
They'll find
Mega
like a Space
Man.
Invaders and they'll have no idea how to get past level 1.
They find Mega Man. They're like, you mean Mega Man 4? They're like, no, it just says Mega Man. There's never been a game without a number before. And then they try to play it and they can't beat it, but they find
Can't
like
even beat one level
they
of it.
find like an old video of some pre-human, like some pre-whatever they are, they're coordinators, the new types or whatever, and they're like, that guy's beating it. So things of the day. You know, our friends Emily and Alex, Front Row Crew people, work for Muse Games, and they made a game, Elementia, and it was pretty good, and it didn't really show off, though, like, what they're capable of as a game studio, and nor did it show off the plugin. You know, they're using Unity, this 3D, like, game development framework, web browser thing, and the game didn't really show off what that's capable of. They have a new game. It's pretty much done, and they released the trailer for it, and I'd recommend you check this out. For a 3-month development cycle, this is a pretty fucking slick game.
I didn't see it yet.
We'll have to watch it after the show.
We will.
Yeah. One thing I'll say, this game is basically, there's the seed of a long-term, like, you could take this and make, like, the biggest MMO awesome game ever.
Well, I think a good idea, right? If they can turn around something like this, right? This game is pretty much the shooting and the repairing, right? And that's it. If you can take a game like this, right, and every 3 months turn something out in this sort of fashion, you could some way combine them all together, right? And that's where you can actually make some action, right? Look at like that Neopets thing. Isn't Neopets a Scientology thing? I don't even remember, but there's
I believe there's some link where like someone bought that. I'll look it up. You keep talking.
Yeah, regardless, the Neopets, I don't even remember like the details of it, but it's like they have a bunch of different games in there that you can use to like upgrade your pets or whatever how the fuck it works. I don't even know. But it's basically a collection of unrelated games together somehow form a thing greater than, the sum of the parts. And
Much
if you can
like Voltron.
If you can make a game every 3 months, right, that, is on this level, and you just keep doing it, eventually you're going to have something that is greater than the sum of the parts, as long as you keep it up.
But check out this trailer. It's a game our friends made, straight up, and it's pretty cool.
All right. So my thing of the day, what was it?
Good game. Here we go. What do you got?
Oh, yeah, I remember now. So this dude went to Japan. He went to some sort of urban design center. It was UDCK, Urban Design Center Kashiwa, right? And he went there, and he was thirsty. So he goes to get a drink at this cafe. And the cafe has a weird sign out front, right?
Yeah, it's in like some weird language.
Yeah, right? He goes to the cafe, and he goes up, and he orders orange juice.
Uh-oh.
The lady gives him something else. I forget what. And he's like, what the hell? Apparently, this is a special cafe. The specialness of this cafe is you order something, and you pay for what you order, but you get what the person before you ordered.
Huh.
Now the thing, right? So the next he's like, huh. So he sits down with what he didn't want, or I don't even remember if he wanted it or not. The next person comes up and it's some lady, and she orders orange juice, and she gets orange juice, and she's like, yay. And the thing is, you can't go up and order twice in a row. That's not allowed, right? And
I'd go in with a friend.
Yeah. Regardless, right? There's all these rules, so you can't be stupid about it.
It's a cool idea. I want to take this and make a game based on that concept.
Oh, snap. So what the dude, a bidding game would be really good. Like, if you know what the previous order was, it's like if you want there to be a big order, it's like you have to make a big order, pay for it, and then, like, everyone goes again, and it's you and everyone else bidding for what you just picked.
There's some magic there. We got to figure out what to do.
So the dude's like, hey. So he goes and he basically orders like a ton of shit, like a whole bunch of candy and everything, right? And then he goes and hides around the corner. And the next people come up and they're like, soda or something. And the lady just starts giving him all this stuff. And the lady and her kid who came up and got all this free stuff were like, oh, arigato, whoever ordered this. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh.
Now think about this. Look at, he was driven. There's some mechanism design there. He was driven to buy all this stuff he normally wouldn't have bought. He wouldn't have just bought this stuff for a stranger randomly, but because there was this little game, this little mechanism design, he got this strange utility of buying more stuff. And the store probably sells a lot more than they would if they were just a normal shop.
Yeah, it would be, I don't know how this kind of cafe would work in the United States somewhere, but it's definitely, it feels like a Japanese thing.
That's
like
the kind of thing you got to put at if you're at a college and you have a student fair or something, that is what you need to do.
Yeah, that's a good place for it. But yeah, cool idea, cool pictures, cool cafe, Japan. Okay, so the meta moment.
The Metamucil.
We don't want to forget the meta moment. So the ad contest, we have received 0 submissions since we have started doing the meta moment, so it's completely useless to keep announcing it. Regardless, I've decided to just end it and pick a winner.
Pick a winner!
I have picked pretty much the entry that was the most polished and photoshopped. Clearly someone has Photoshop skills, so they are the winner. The winner is the forum name Particulates. I found out through 5 minutes of research. You ready for this?
I'm ready.
I didn't even realize this when I picked the winner. The guy's name is Chase Gordon, I think. He's the dude who does that comic in which there was the old Rochester whiskey.
Oh, oui.
Oh, yes. So the creator of Rim and Scott's Old Rochester Whiskey is now the proud owner of 6 volumes of the Akira manga, which is the whole thing. I will mail you these 6 volumes when A, you send me your address, and B, I'm done moving, which is probably a month from now. But I promise I will send them because I already have them, and I have plenty of boxes in which to mail them. And I will be living much closer to a post office, and will have much easier access to it and more time in the day to go to it. So,
will you
these
really?
will definitely.
There's a post office right down the street from here.
I know. So I go to it often. Actually, I mailed out all those things to sold on Amazon.
But
so
you're gonna be living closer to one.
Yeah,
there's one right next door in Queens.
I'm pretty sure there's one very close. Regardless, I will definitely mail these to you. So, Particulates, Chase Gordon, dude with the awesome comic who, with the Rim and Scott joke. Email us, geeknights@frontrowcrew.com with your mailing address.
You realize we're going to get at least 5 emails from other people saying
I'll know
him.
because he has a domain for his webcomic. I'll pimp him out. I think it's or at least you can go to Google and search for Particulates comic and you'll find his comic. I hope you'll find his comic. So I'll know because his email address will hopefully be at particulatessomething.com, so I'll know it's him. So, yeah, dude, you won the contest. I'm going to start, after I'm done moving, buying ads with your ad and also, sending you manga. So, awesome.
Right.
Awesome for you, dude. You're awesome.
So I got another aside. I want to talk a tiny bit about Kineticon. And I want to talk about it on a Tuesday because, we're the heads of panels for Kineticon now. It's kind of a generic con, anime and gaming.
Yeah, Kineticon is not an anime con or a gaming con. It's an all-geek con.
Yes. But
if it's geeky, we got it.
And we're really up in the geekiness. And, there's a lot of anime content at it. And
there's also a lot of webcomic content.
We really, really, really want to have a lot more gaming content and a lot more unrelated to any of this content, crazy stuff.
We want to get some tech in there if we can.
So I mentioned it, it's in Hartford, Connecticut. It's going to be next summer, probably near the end of summer. We don't have all the details on that yet. What I want to say is that if you have a gaming-related panel and you want to give a lecture or you have a cool idea for what we should do in a panel room between 1 and 500 people in the room, the con has 6,000 or 7,000 people, email us, geeknights@frontrowcrew.com, and, talk to me. One of us will respond, and we're doing the kind of we're feeling out all the super awesome people and trying to get all the super awesome people scheduled before we open it up to the masses. So,
also, send us your sort of quirky ideas, right? Because we've got stuff on here. We got parkour, we got belly dancing, the sci-fi stuff going on,
Action
right?
Castle.
We got Action Castle, right? So if you've got something that's really really clever or something that would just be like, yeah, totally awesome, let us know.
Even if you don't think you can't run it, you live in like Albion or something, just, tell us your cool idea. And if we can, we'll do it. We're it. The buck stops at us.
We'll try to find someone else who can do it maybe too.
I mean, if the panels there aren't awesome, it's our fault and we'll just blame you. So
passing the buck. All right. So
Scott bought an Xbox.
I bought an Xbox 360. Now, the reason that we did not buy an Xbox 360 for the longest time is a few reasons. Number one, it costs money.
That's not a reason.
Number two, I was under the impression that really without an HD TV, it wasn't worth it, which is sort of true in a little bit. All right. Reason number three, I already have more video games than I have time to play. I have a pile of unbeaten video games, right? So why would I buy a console to get more video games than I have time to play? Well, I bought one finally, and here's the reasons why I bought one. Number one, I'm getting an HD TV because I'm moving, and a big TV isn't going to really fit, so I got to buy a flat one, and flat one's going to be HD, so there you go. Number two, the price dropped like a rock. I was able to get the Elite 360, the greatest one with the biggest hard drive. It's black, it's amazing, for the price of $300, but there was a $50 mail-in rebate, $250 for an Elite Xbox 360. How about that? That's the same price I paid for the Wii on launch day. And this is for the Elite, not for the regular or the premium or whatever. So, hells yeah, I'm going to pay that. Reason number three, I already had these Xbox 360 controllers and wireless headsets that I was using with my PC for some PC gaming. So, I didn't have to buy any extra controllers or headsets for the 360, really. So, it was a total, I already paid for these controllers. I'm just going to get more use out of them. So it's actually enhancing the value of things I already owned by buying the 360. So I bought one. And the things I realized when I got it were, I thought that, over these years, I kept seeing all these newses about all these great, like, Xbox Live Arcade games. And I always wanted some of them, that they were just like these awesome indie games. Now that I've got it, there's a lot fewer of those than I remember there being over the years, or remember seeing news about over the years. I thought there would be like so many I wouldn't know what to do with, but really, there aren't. And the thing is, I look at the list of 360 games out there that I want, and a lot of them are games I already have on Steam. Like the Braid game, already got it on Steam. All the Valve games, got them on Steam. And you know what? If a new game comes out and it's available on Steam and on the 360, I'm going to pick it on Steam before I pick it on the 360.
Definitely.
Well, it depends actually on the kind of game. If it's a game I'm going to play with a controller, I might pick the 360 version.
I guess what really bothers me about that
but as
is
a mouse keyboard game, I'm going to pick the PC version.
We're playing Castle Crashers, which we're going to talk about in a second. And there's no reason it shouldn't just be on the PC. There's no reason at all for it to be a console-only game.
Yeah, there's no reason for it to be 360 exclusive. I mean, the guys who made it, who have the source code, could probably just push a button and spit out a PC version that would run on Steam. But they didn't, so there you have it. Anyway, so the two games that I've got are occupying my time are Shadow Complex, which I'll talk about in the future. Needless to say, buy that game. It's totally awesome and worth every dollar. And the other game is Castle Crashers, which we have both been playing, which is why we can do a show on it, because we've both been playing it, whereas I've been the only one playing Shadow Complex.
Yep.
So, Castle Crashers. Castle Crashers is River City Ransom plus Ninja Turtles 2. The end.
It's just, it's a little bit of Final Fight.
There's a little bit of Final Fight, Streets of Rage, but not much.
You know
I guess
what
it has
really
awesome music like Streets of Rage.
What it also has a lot of
and it has
is
Choose Your Character.
Pirate Baby Cabana Battle.
It has some of that going on, too.
It has, playing it feels like watching Pirate Baby Cabana Battle.
Yeah, basically, it's a side-scrolling beat-em-up game that has leveling up and money like River City Ransom does. It's got totally awesome styling and character like River City Ransom and, Pirate Baby Cabana Battle do. It has awesome music like Streets of Rage.
Oh my god, the music in this game is some of the best music I've heard in a game in a long time.
Yep. But the thing is, the actual play of the game, like, the parts you're standing on an animal, the part where there's an elevator, the part, right?
Oh, there's this point where literally get on this platform. I think it's in the, we keep calling it the Techno Palace, but it's the Industrial Castle.
Right.
Where it's just totally Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
It's Ninja Turtles, the arcade game. And there's also parts where it's Golden Axe also. Like the thieves are stealing stuff, that's Golden Axe, straight up.
So rarely has a game so well stolen from the Forgotten Masters.
Oh, indeed. I mean, really, it's not really, like, there's nothing this game does that's incredibly innovative or exciting. And really, it's just a straight up walk sideways beat 'em up. It's not like a highbrow game, really.
I mean, it's got a good set of combos, but pretty rapidly you'll min-max it, and I've got like
I put all my points into magic and defense.
I put all mine into strength and agility.
Yeah.
I have infinite air combos that just kill anyone.
I just stand there casting like magic splash attacks that hit every bad guy and do
a splash attack.
A ton of damage to all of them, and then poison them and continue to damage them over time, even if I dodge them. And then my defense makes it so I'm really hard to kill, except for really dangerous bosses. But yeah, this game just it's a side-scrolling beat 'em up, but they've taken the best of all the great side-scrolling beat 'em ups over time and made basically the ultimate side-scrolling beat 'em up game to end all side-scrolling beat 'em up games.
Well, it does in the sense of a normal, this kind of beat 'em up. We're not talking about the hardcore beat 'em ups. This is no God Hand or anything like that.
No, it's not a God Hand. It's clearly a River City Ransom.
Yes.
You jam the buttons to beat up the bad guys and try to dodge the attacks that they occasionally throw at you. And the bosses are sometimes interesting and have a pattern that you have to follow.
I'll admit, though, the majority of the fun I get from the game is the fact that it's a well-executed game that simultaneously just has great Pirate Baby Cabana Battle styling to where like the watching and the listening and the playing are all equally good, and the three together.
Yeah, I mean, I have no interest in playing this. For example, you can tell when you're playing this game that like you can level up big time, and you can get all sorts of crazy attacks.
There are like 30 different fucking characters to unlock, and you have to like beat
Are
the
there really
game.
30?
Yeah, you can be like the Saracen and the Fire Elemental and the Alien and the Conehead.
Oh, I didn't know that.
The Beekeeper.
Oh shit.
The way to unlock them all is such grindy bullshit.
Yeah, there's like a million weapons in the game, and there's
also
all these animals that you can get in your arc that can
also
animal companions.
The leveling up is fun, but the fact that I can't just pick a level is incredibly annoying. Primarily because Scott and I played through a lot of the game, and then we wanted to show it to Alex, so we sit down. And we basically all had to be level 1 or else it just sucked.
Well, I mean, Alex could have been level 1 while we were very high level.
That would have been great for him.
Right, that would have been great for him just getting completely owned by all the bad guys.
Also, the fact that level clearly matters significantly. I mean, Scott played a little bit and was higher level than me, and until I caught up, he was just better than me completely, and I didn't even need to be there.
Yeah. So yeah, that's
why the leveling? The leveling is fun, but why like the grindy bullshit? Why does every game
made it more
have to have all this achievementy, grindy bullshit stuck onto an otherwise good game?
They should have made it just like River City Ransom, where it's money that matters. You can get techniques and things. Like you go buy a combo, you go buy an animal, but it doesn't actually level you up.
It does in River City Ransom. That's why you level up. You go buy the food.
Yeah, that's right. The stat. I forgot about that.
Yeah, and that was fun. Because you would only play it with like one person all the way through, but this is more a game where I might just pick it up with my friends. The fact that I gotta level up my guy to catch up with my friends.
Yeah, so now your friends can't join it. The thing is, it does allow you to play online with friends. So like if I level up myself and my friend levels up, we can join together. Or if like my friend who has the game at his house comes over, he can log into his Xbox Live and then he can bring his characters up. I think. I'm not 100% sure about that, but I hope it looks like you're able to. I don't know about that for sure.
I don't like the fact that I have to level up all these characters, and like we unlock some characters, I gotta level them up separately.
Yeah.
Just to play them. No, I want to play them right because I only care about the style. I don't care about anything else. Also,
this is definitely the kind of game where after I beat all the levels and all the bosses, I'm gonna be done with it.
Yep. Also, the fact that you can buy some of this content with the DLC for real money.
Can you really? I didn't know that.
Some of the weapons are like the King's Pack.
Oh.
Yeah,
I was unaware.
Not happening.
Nope.
Not cool.
Not paying for that, sorry. But yeah, other than that, I mean, it's got a lot of funny bits in it. Like there's the part where the deer's rocket poop.
The rocket poop, and there's a lot of Ren and Stimpy styling, but not always that. And the
There's
style's
also a
all
lot
over
of
the
there's
place.
also a lot of parts of the game that are like they mix up the gameplay, the same way Ninja Turtles the arcade did. Like there's a sequence of the game where you ride animals while you're running away from this big monster.
That's also the rocket poop.
And you stop doing, beat 'em up, and you do like a sort of dodgy side-scrolling game, almost like
Dodgy in the American
it's
sense,
almost-
not
it-
the British sense.
It's almost like the racing part in Chrono Trigger, kind of. You know what I'm talking about?
yeah.
It's almost like that. So it's not just a side-scrolling beat 'em up, which though you know what? It's actually a lot like Battletoads in that sense.
Oh man,
It's almost like the
Battletoads.
motorcycle part in Battletoads.
I'm surprised that hasn't been remade recently.
Yeah, I actually wish the game had more Battletoads kind of stuff. It has a little bit, but that's another beat 'em up that it's.
There was one part when we were fighting the Techno King.
Yep.
Where I expected it to be that Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles or Battletoads thing. I expected to be like throwing stuff at the screen, but that didn't really happen.
Yeah. No, but we're not even all the way through the game. We got to go across the river to the rest of the game. I'm sure there's all kinds of exciting stuff over there.
There is, but the fact that there's so much, like a lot of people who are playing it are getting are really into the DLC and the unlocking and the leveling and the grind.
Well,
and, like,
how else can you make big money off a game like this if you don't do that kind of stuff? You're only going to make little money off it. And that's why this game probably didn't cost them anything to make at all, yet they found a way to market and design the game to basically get tons of money from people on a huge high margin, and that's why they're raking it in. So
it's a fun game though.
it is. It's a good game. I mean, they wouldn't be able to get people to pay for DLC if the core game was poop.
The thing is, it's like we said, it's a fun Pirate Baby Cabana battle. It's no NS. I mean, I was playing NS today and yesterday.
Yeah, this is
And the
definitely
day
a game where
before.
you buy it, you play it till completion, and then you put it back on the shelf, never to be picked up again.
Maybe like years later, you'll play it through again with some friends. Maybe
yeah,
different friends.
what happened is some other friends will come over who haven't played it and they'll play it together while you're doing something else. That's definitely gonna happen.
It's a game that like
the same way that we've beaten River City Ransom, but we'll pick it up and play through a level or two from time to time.
It's one of those games where other people can be playing it, and I get almost the same enjoyment watching other people play as I get playing. So I could do something else.
Yeah,
and watch
especially
people play.
when they see the jokes in the game that you've seen already, but you can see them laugh at the jokes.
Didn't we talk about this last Wednesday?
We
the
did talk
rewatching?
about this.
I think we need to do a Tuesday on replaying because there's different stuff to say.
You think so? I don't know.
think so.
I don't think this different. It's mostly the same.
Yeah,
stuff.
there's some different though.
A little bit.
If we broaden it to be replayability,
maybe.
why can I play NS and TIE Fighter over and over again, but I can't play Castle Crashers again?
Because Cash Crashes again is the same thing again. It's the same
But
joke
TIE Fighter is
again.
the same
but
thing again.
NS again, each game of NS is a different experience. It's you're creating. It's the same reason you can play Dwarf Fortress. Actually, if you like it, has infinite replayability.
TIE Fighter is the
almost.
exact same game again. Why can I play it again so easily?
Because TIE Fighter.
I think it's just because there aren't enough of those games.
Yeah, you're not
It's kind of like if I'm dying of scurvy, something that has a little bit of vitamin C in it, I will eat that forever because I need it.
Yep.
But if someone gives me oranges, I don't need it anymore. Basically,
I should walk to the gas station and get some orange juice. We don't have any.
they're the only sources left of vitamin TIE Fighter are TIE Fighter and X-Wing Alliance.
Vitamin TIE Fighter.
The only
it's the
thing
same reason you
more
can play
rare than that-
XCOM over and over again. The only source of vitamin XCOM is XCOM.
Yeah, and vitamin.
I mean, there's the Jagged Alliance, whatever. It's not. Nothing is the same as that XCOM alien, whatever.
or Tribes too. There's even a Penny Arcade. Just that.
Yeah, right. Vitamin Tribes.
Oh my God, I'm so deficient in that. I think I'm gonna die.
Die of tribes. Scurv tribes.
Tribesy.
I don't know. We're gonna have to come up with diseases for this.
I think we're winding down here.
Yeah, but I guess just in summary, right? Castle Crashers. It's got sort of this cool. It's basically a medieval styling, side-scrolly beat 'em up game.
Great music, great
for the
style,
Xbox.
good gameplay.
But it sort of mixes it up with all sorts of aliens and animals. It has
Bears shitting themselves.
right, big monsters, dragons.
I don't know. I really
there
like.
haven't been any dragons yet, actually.
I really like that Techno King though.
Yeah, it's cool because it combines like sort of technology. There's aliens, but there's medieval. You get the pirates. They got everything coming in. All the cool themes rolled into one. So it's totally geeking out.
But it's a game. Don't buy an X. That's what you couldn't buy an
Really
Xbox
good controls
for this game.
No,
But if you have an Xbox, you're stupid.
It's not a $300 game.
If you have an Xbox already, you're stupid if you don't have this game.
That's right.
But it should be on the PC. Maybe someday it will be.
Yep. Especially
Dude,
because it's playable online.
Game could basically be on the DS.
Game could be on the Wii. Game could be on everything. No reason to make it 360 specific.
Yeah.
Oh, I do want to say one thing though, is that I originally thought that you need an HD TV or else a 360 isn't worth it, and I realized that's only partially true. Right? We're playing these games on a non-HD TV with a 360, and it's just fine. The thing is, there are obviously some few aspects where an HD TV would significantly help, right? Like in the Shadow Complex game, there's some things that are just sort of small and difficult for me to see, even with my excellent eyesight, just because the TV is not HD. And also in Castle Crashers, like there's small details, like when you look in go into the weapons frog and you look at like the stats and different weapons, they're like they're a little bit pixely and you can't really tell, like, is that +4 magic or is that +4 strength? And with an HD TV, you could totally tell right away. And the screen might actually be a little wider, which would help a lot too. So, if you don't have an HD TV and you want a 360, don't let that stop you. But an HD TV is recommended.
This has been Geeknights with Rim and Scott. Special thanks to DJ Pretzel for the opening music.
Be sure to visit our website at www.frontrowcrew.com, where you'll find show notes, links, our awesome forum, a link to our Frapper map, and links to all the RSS feeds.
We say feeds plural because Geeknights airs 4 nights a week, covering 4 different brands of geekery. Mondays are science and technology. Tuesdays, we have video games, board games, and RPGs. Wednesdays are anime, manga, comic nights. And Thursdays are the catch-alls for various rants and tomfoolery.
You can send us feedback by email to geeknights@frontrowcrew.com. Or you can send audio feedback via audio. Just click the link that says send me an audio on the right side of our website.
If you like what you hear, you can catch the last 100 episodes in iTunes or in your favorite podcatcher. For the complete archives, visit the website, which has everything.
Geeknights is distributed under a Creative Commons Attribution Non-Commercial Share-alike 2.5 license. This means you can do whatever you want with it as long as you give us credit, don't make money, and share it in kind. Geeknights is recorded live with no studio and no audience. But unlike those other late shows, it's actually recorded at night.